that quiet, persistent hum of uncertainty. The feeling that the path beneath your feet is dissolving into mist, leaving you adrift without a compass or a clear destination. It's a profound sense of being lost, not in a physical place, but within the landscape of your own life. This feeling isn't a personal failing, but perhaps a deep, ancient question stirring within, asking, where do I truly belong and what is the meaning of this journey? It resonates through ages. You are not alone in this sensation. Countless souls across history have navigated this very same existential fog. The pressures of the modern world, the endless choices, the curated lives presented online, the shifting definitions of success, often amplify this feeling, making it seem like everyone else holds a map you were never given. But what if this feeling of being lost isn't the end of the story, but the crucial beginning of a search for something more substantial, more authentic? The noise of expectation, both external and internal, can drown out the subtle whispers of your own inner guidance. Without a clear connection to personal values, or confronted by the sheer weight of existence itself, the sense of direction naturally fades. It's easy to feel swept along by currents not of your own making. Understanding these underlying currents, the potential sources of this drift, is the first step towards regaining control of the helm and choosing your course deliberately. But what if the answers aren't found in external validation or fleeting trends, but within timeless wisdom? For millennia, philosophers have grappled with these exact questions of meaning, purpose, and direction. They haven't offered simple, one-size-fits-all solutions, but rather powerful frameworks for thinking, potent tools for self-discovery, and enduring strategies for navigating the complexities of the human condition. Imagine possessing not just one map, but several distinct philosophical charts, each offering a unique perspective on finding your way. From embracing radical freedom to cultivating inner resilience, from discovering your inherent potential to finding meaning even in hardship, these ancient paths hold keys. Let's delve deeper into why this feeling of being lost is so pervasive today. One significant factor is the overwhelming sea of societal expectations. We are constantly bombarded with images and narratives defining what a successful or meaningful life should look like: career trajectories, material possessions, relationship milestones. Another potent source of this drift is a lack of clearly defined personal values. When you haven't consciously identified what truly matters to you, integrity, creativity, compassion, freedom, connection, it becomes difficult to make decisions that align with your authentic self. Furthermore, the modern era, despite its advancements, has arguably stripped away some traditional sources of meaning, strong community bonds, widely shared religious or cultural narratives, clear rites of passage. While increased individual freedom is valuable, it can also leave a void. This confrontation with potential meaninglessness isn't necessarily a cause for despair, though it often initially feels that way. It's a stark realization that challenges us to look deeper. If the universe doesn't provide a ready-made purpose, where can we find one? This very question is the gateway through which philosophy enters, not as a detached intellectual exercise, but as a vital response to a deeply felt human need for orientation and significance in the face of uncertainty. Let's begin our exploration with existentialism. Thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, and Albert Camus confronted the void head-on. Their radical insight was this: existence precedes essence. This means we are born into the world first without a predetermined nature or purpose. We simply are. It is through our choices, our actions, and our commitments that we define who we become and what meaning our lives will hold. There is no blueprint handed down from above. This realization brings with it a profound, almost terrifying freedom. If there's no pre-written script, we are solely responsible for the narrative of our lives. This freedom can feel like a burden, the condemnation to be free, as Sartre put it. It means we cannot blame fate, destiny, or external forces for our lack of direction. How does this help with feeling lost? Existentialism reframes the feeling not as a passive state of being adrift, but as an active challenge. It urges you to embrace the anxiety of freedom and recognize it as the space where meaning is forged. Feeling lost is the starting point for authentic self-creation. Instead of searching for a pre-existing path, you are called to create one through conscious, deliberate choices aligned with values you actively affirm, even in the face of uncertainty. Consider Camus's concept of the absurd, the clash between our human longing for meaning and rationality, and the silent, indifferent universe. His answer wasn't despair, but rebellion. We rebel by embracing life, by finding value in the struggle itself, like Sisyphus finding meaning in endlessly pushing his boulder. So, the existentialist toolkit for finding direction involves radical self-acceptance of freedom and responsibility. It requires introspection to understand what you genuinely care about, followed by the courage to commit to actions that reflect those values. It means understanding that meaning isn't discovered like a hidden treasure, but constructed moment by moment through the choices you make. It's an empowering, albeit demanding, perspective that places the locus of control firmly within you. Now, let's turn to a different philosophical compass: Stoicism. Flourishing in ancient Greece and Rome with thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism offers a contrasting yet equally powerful approach to finding direction amidst life's chaos. Where existentialism emphasizes creating meaning and freedom, Stoicism focuses on finding purpose through inner virtue, rational action, and acceptance of what lies beyond our control. The core Stoic insight for navigating life is the dichotomy of control. Some things are within our power, our judgments, intentions, responses, and actions, while others are not: external events, other people's opinions, health, wealth, reputation. The Stoics argued that inner peace and purpose come from focusing our energy exclusively on what we can control, our inner world, our character, and accepting what we cannot with equanimity. How does this lead to direction? The Stoics believed our purpose is to live in accordance with nature, which, for humans, means living according to reason and virtue. Our direction comes not from achieving specific external outcomes, but from striving to cultivate inner excellence, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance in every situation. When feeling lost, Stoicism advises looking inward. Ask yourself, what virtues can I practice in this situation? What is my rational duty right now? How can I respond to this challenge with wisdom and courage? By focusing on virtuous action within your sphere of control, you establish a constant, internal source of direction. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches acceptance of fate, or amor fati, a love of fate. This doesn't mean passive resignation, but embracing whatever happens, even adversity, as an opportunity to practice virtue. If you feel lost because external plans have gone awry, Stoicism encourages reframing this. See it not as a disaster, but as raw material upon which you can exercise resilience, adaptability, and wisdom. The Stoic toolkit, therefore, provides direction through internal alignment. It involves clearly distinguishing what you can and cannot control, focusing effort on cultivating virtues like wisdom and courage, understanding your purpose as living rationally and contributing virtuously to the human community, and accepting external events with equanimity. Let's journey further back to ancient Greece and the philosophy of Aristotle. His concept of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or living well, offers another profound perspective on finding direction. For Aristotle, the ultimate aim of human life isn't fleeting pleasure or external success, but achieving a state of deep fulfillment that comes from realizing our unique human potential and living a life of virtue. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves. According to Aristotle, everything has a telos, an inherent purpose or end. The telos of an acorn is to become an oak tree. The telos of a human being, he argued, is to live a life guided by reason, our highest faculty. Eudaimonia is achieved by consistently acting in accordance with reason, which means cultivating intellectual and moral virtues. Feeling lost, in the Aristotelian view, might stem from failing to identify or pursue your unique strengths and capabilities, or from living out of accordance with virtue. If you are engaged in activities that don't utilize your rational capacities or develop your character, a sense of dissatisfaction and aimlessness is natural. Virtue, for Aristotle, is not just an abstract concept but a practical disposition, achieved through habituation. Moral virtues like courage, generosity, and justice are cultivated by consistently choosing the golden mean between extremes. For example, courage is the mean between cowardice and rashness. Therefore, Aristotle's path to direction emphasizes self-knowledge, the cultivation of potential, and the habitual practice of virtue. It suggests that feeling lost can be overcome by identifying what you are naturally good at and what brings you a sense of genuine accomplishment, and then pursuing those activities excellently, guided by reason and moral principles. Eudaimonia isn't a passive state but an active life of striving towards your highest potential, leading to deep and lasting fulfillment. Moving into the 20th century, we encounter logotherapy, developed by psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl. His experiences in concentration camps led him to conclude that the primary human drive is not pleasure, as Freud suggested, or power, as Adler proposed, but the search for meaning. Frankl observed that even in the most horrific circumstances, those who maintained a sense of purpose were more likely to survive and retain their humanity. Frankl argued that meaning can be found in three primary ways. First, through creating a work or doing a deed, contributing something significant through our actions or creations. Second, by experiencing something or encountering someone, finding meaning in love, beauty, nature, or profound human connection. Third, and perhaps most powerfully, by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. For someone feeling lost, logotherapy offers a direct challenge. Where can meaning be found right now in your current circumstances? It shifts the focus from an abstract, perhaps unattainable sense of grand purpose to concrete sources of meaning available in daily life. Feeling lost might indicate an existential vacuum, a lack of perceived meaning. Logotherapy emphasizes that meaning is unique to each individual and must be discovered, not invented arbitrarily. It requires listening to the demands of life and responding responsibly. What tasks feel like they are calling to you? What relationships demand your care and attention? What suffering requires your courageous endurance? Frankl's logotherapy provides a powerful framework for finding direction, particularly when faced with difficult circumstances or a sense of emptiness. It redirects our search for purpose towards concrete actions, meaningful connections, and the attitude we adopt. Having explored these diverse philosophical perspectives, existentialism, Stoicism, Aristotelian eudaimonia, and logotherapy, we see that philosophy doesn't offer a single answer, but rather a rich toolkit. The feeling of being lost can be addressed from multiple angles, depending on your temperament and circumstances. Now, let's translate these profound ideas into practical exercises you can undertake to begin charting your own course towards purpose and direction. Inspired by existentialism and Aristotle, a crucial first step is value clarification. What principles are truly non-negotiable for you? Take time to reflect and journal. List words that resonate: integrity, creativity, freedom, security, compassion, growth, community, knowledge. Then prioritize them. Which values, if compromised, would make you feel fundamentally untrue to yourself? Building on Aristotelian ideas, engage in self-reflection focused on your strengths and passions. What activities make you feel engaged, competent, and alive? What skills do you possess or wish to develop that align with your values? Journal about times you felt genuinely proud or fulfilled. Drawing from Stoicism and logotherapy, consider where you can make a contribution. Focus on your sphere of influence, however small it may seem. How can you apply your values and strengths in service of others or a cause larger than yourself? This doesn't require grand gestures. It could be helping a neighbor, excelling in your work with integrity, creating something beautiful, or simply offering a compassionate ear. Embrace the Stoic practice of memento mori, remembering mortality. Contemplate the finite nature of your life, not morbidly, but as a tool for prioritization. If time is limited, what truly matters? What trivial concerns, fears, or distractions are preventing you from living in alignment with your core values and pursuing meaningful goals? Integrate these practices through consistent journaling. Use writing as a space to explore your values. Track your progress in cultivating strengths and virtues. Reflect on challenges through a Stoic lens. Identify opportunities for meaning, as Frankl suggested, and process your feelings about freedom and responsibility in the existentialist sense. Remember that finding direction is rarely a single aha moment, but rather an ongoing process of exploration, choice, and refinement. These philosophical tools are not magic wands but navigational aids. There will be times when the path seems unclear again, when doubt creeps in. This is natural. The key is to return to these practices, reclarify values, reassess strengths, refocus on virtue and contribution, reaffirm your choices, and continue steering, even if progress feels slow. It's also vital to cultivate self-compassion during this process. Feeling lost can be accompanied by frustration or self-criticism. Recognize that this journey of self-discovery and meaning-making is inherently challenging. Treat yourself with the same understanding and patience you would offer a friend navigating similar uncertainties. Acknowledge the courage it takes to confront these deep questions and to actively engage in the process of finding your way, celebrating small steps forward. Furthermore, consider the role of community and connection, implicitly vital in most philosophical traditions. While the core work is internal, sharing your journey, discussing ideas, and engaging in meaningful relationships, as highlighted by logotherapy and Aristotle's emphasis on the social nature of humans, can provide support, perspective, and opportunities to practice virtues like justice and friendship. Purpose is often found not in isolation, but in relation to others. The beauty of using philosophy as a guide is its adaptability. You might find that existentialist ideas resonate most strongly during periods of major life transition, while Stoic principles offer solace during times of adversity. Aristotelian concepts might inspire you when seeking growth and skill development, and logotherapy could provide anchors when facing suffering or seeking concrete meaning. It's crucial to demystify philosophy. It's not reserved for academics in ivory towers. At its heart, philosophy is about learning how to live well, how to think clearly, and how to find meaning, fundamental human concerns. These ancient thinkers were grappling with the same core anxieties and aspirations we face today. Their insights, when approached with an open mind, offer practical wisdom that can be directly applied to the challenge of feeling lost and the quest for direction. The journey out of feeling lost, guided by philosophy, is ultimately a journey towards greater self-awareness and intentionality. It involves moving from passively drifting on the currents of external influence or internal confusion to actively taking the helm. It requires courage to ask difficult questions, honesty to confront your values and limitations, and discipline to apply the principles consistently in your actions and choices, shaping a life with purpose. In summary, the feeling of being lost, while uncomfortable, can be a powerful catalyst for growth. It signals a need to reconnect with what truly matters. Philosophy offers diverse yet potent frameworks to aid this reconnection. Existentialism empowers us to create meaning through choice and responsibility. Stoicism grounds us in inner virtue and acceptance. Aristotle guides us towards flourishing by realizing our potential. The practical exercises derived from these philosophies, clarifying values, identifying strengths, focusing on contribution, contemplating mortality, consistent reflection, are not just theoretical musings but actionable steps. They transform abstract philosophical concepts into tangible tools for self-discovery and navigation. Ultimately, philosophy offers more than just answers. It offers better questions and frameworks for living. It encourages a life examined, a life lived with intention. By engaging with these timeless ideas, you equip yourself not just to find direction when feeling lost, but to navigate the inevitable twists and turns of life with greater wisdom, resilience, and purpose. The goal isn't to arrive at a final, fixed destination, but to embrace the journey of becoming, guided by your chosen principles. The initial discomfort of feeling adrift holds within it the potential for profound transformation. It's an invitation from life itself, or perhaps from your own deeper consciousness, to pause, reflect, and consciously choose your way forward. It's an opportunity to shed external expectations that don't serve you and to connect with the internal compass of your own values and aspirations, guided by the accumulated wisdom of those who have walked similar paths before. Remember the Stoic focus on agency within limitations. While you cannot control every event or eliminate uncertainty, you always retain the power to choose your response, to cultivate your inner character, and to direct your intentions virtuously. This internal locus of control is perhaps the most reliable anchor in the sometimes turbulent sea of existence. Embrace the existentialist courage to define yourself through action. Let the potential void of meaning not paralyze you, but energize you to fill that space with projects, passions, and commitments that resonate with your chosen values. Every conscious choice, every deliberate step taken in alignment with what you deem important, becomes an act of meaning creation, weaving the fabric of a purposeful life thread by thread, even amidst the vastness of the unknown. This is your unique artwork to create. Heed Aristotle's call to strive for eudaimonia, for genuine flourishing. Seek out those activities that engage your highest faculties, that challenge you to grow, and that allow you to express your unique potential excellently. Living virtuously and aiming for self-realization provides a deep, internal sense of direction and fulfillment that transcends fleeting pleasures or external validation. And never forget Frankl's profound insight. Meaning is always available, waiting to be discovered through our engagement with the world, through our work, our love, and our courageous attitude towards suffering. Even when feeling lost seems overwhelming, actively look for the small calls to meaning in your immediate situation. What needs doing? Who needs connecting with? What challenge requires your strength? Answering these questions practically and responsibly can reignite your sense of purpose from the ground up. Philosophy, therefore, is not merely an academic discipline, but a vital, living tradition offering practical guidance for one of the most fundamental human experiences, the search for direction and meaning. It validates the feeling of being lost while simultaneously empowering you with diverse tools and perspectives to navigate that feeling constructively. It invites you onto a path of self-discovery, intentional living, and the active creation of a life rich with purpose. The path forward may not always be brightly lit or perfectly straight, but armed with these philosophical insights and practices, you possess the means to navigate the shadows, to choose your steps deliberately, and to cultivate an inner sense of direction that can withstand uncertainty. The feeling of being lost need not be a permanent state, but a temporary phase, a profound question that ultimately leads you towards a more authentic and meaningful existence. Where will you choose to direct your steps next?